Should the New York Giants sign Mitch Trubisky in NFL free agency? We're going to break that idea down on today's show. We know the Giants were interested in signing Trubisky a couple off seasons ago. He has ties to Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. Giants want a veteran QB on their team. We'll break it down, but first, I want to hear from all the real ones down in the comments section. Should Joe Schoen and the New York Giants sign Mitch Trubisky this offseason? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know what you think. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Let's get into it. Mitch Trubisky has been released by the Pittsubrugh Steelers. He will be a free agent. He can sign wherever he wants. And the Giants are being listed as a top destination for the former number 2 overall pick for a lot of reasons, right? The Giants were interested in signing Mitch Trubisky back in the 2022 NFL free agency cycle. Go back to spring 2022. Remember, Daniel Jones had his fifth-year option declined in the first offseason by Joe Schoen and this regime. So they were interested then. I'm sure they'll be interested again because they do have ties to him and they do know who the person and the player is. Daboll and Schoen obviously were with the Buffalo Bills in 2021, and that is when Trubisky was the backup quarterback for Josh Allen. So they know if he would be a good locker room fit and fit well with this team. And according to Jordan Renaud a couple of days ago, he said this on ESPN Radio. The Giants are looking to sign a veteran quarterback over drafting a QB in round 1 of the NFL draft. I said Jordan Renaud. I apologize. I meant Jeremy Fowler. Wrong guy. Jeremy Fowler was the one who reported this. So you now know the Giants are interested in signing a veteran free agent quarterback, and Trubisky is probably the hottest name right now, considering he was just released. Trubisky, though, was not good for the Pittsubrugh Steelers over the last couple of seasons, and there's a reason that the Chicago Bears moved on from him. A lot of people thought he just needed to get out of Chicago and go with a new team, reset the setting, get a new fresh start. Thing was, he was actually worse with the Steelers than he was with the Chicago Bears. You look at what he's done in 12 games played for the Steelers, and the stats aren't all that great. In both seasons, he threw 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, completed 65% of his passes in 2022, 62.6%. This year, only averaged 178.9 yards per game in 2022, less than 130 this year, and the quarterback rating this year at 71.9. Mitch Trubisky was actually so bad following the Kenny Pickett injury. Trubisky was the next man up, and they benched him for Rudolph. They benched Mitch Trubisky for Mason Rudolph. I think that tells you everything you need to know about the type of player that Trubisky is at this point. And I'm honestly scared that this is going to be the plan for the New York Giants. We've heard reports from credible sources they want to sign a veteran quarterback to compete with Daniel Jones. They have had interest in Trubisky now for a couple of years, and I'm scared that he is going to be a member of the Giants for this reason. He is not a good quarterback. Bringing in Trubisky, in my opinion, makes absolutely no sense, but that is supposedly what the Giants want to do, bring in a veteran quarterback. This is my thing. If the plan is to bring in competition for Daniel Jones, like you actually want to have him have to win the job this summer and earn the right to be the starting quarterback for Big Blue, Mitch Trubisky is not that guy. I don't think Daniel Jones is great, but I can say with pretty strong confidence that he is better than Mitch. And I don't need to see Trubisky and Daniel Jones competing in the offseason. Bring someone in that actually has a threat and an opportunity to beat Daniel Jones out. Trubisky, I don't think he's that good. I think the tape says he's not that good. No, I am not interested in signing him. I know this, though. If the Giants make a move, if they sign Trubisky, if they do anything this offseason, we're going to make a video about it on this channel, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. We put out free, informative, entertaining, passion-driven content every single day. So subscribe, turn your notifications on, and help us get to our goal of 43,000 subscribers. We're 225 away. Let's get there on today's show. Sub for Giants Dubs. Coming up next, another reason I'm not all that interested in signing Mitch Trubisky is because the New York Giants, they need to rip the Daniel Jones Band-Aid off. They have a gash on their arm. It needs stitches, and they're covering it up right now with a small Band-Aid. Rip it off and begin the healing process. We'll talk about that and why, as well as other free agent quarterbacks the Giants could be interested in. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor of today's show. That is Game Time. Go into your app store, download the Game Time app, and if you use this promo code GiantsChat, you're going to get $20 off. Game Time is the best ticketing app in the game. You get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. What I love about it, as a king of procrastination, the prices drop as the event gets closer. So if you don't want to go out months in advance and spend money and have to wait for the ticket, you can kind of wait till the week of and day of, and prices will drop as it gets closer. They always do these awesome flash deals and stuff like that. And it's not just tickets to Giants games. You can go to Knicks games, Nets games, Yankees games are coming up soon, as well as Mets games. You can go to concerts, you can go to theater events, plays, and so much more. And you go to the Rangers game. Let's go Rangers. Go see them at MSG. Let's ride. I actually used this app in Las Vegas. We went to a couple of comedy shows out there. Shout out Jeremy Chugs. And we got $20 off with the promo code GiantsChat. Check them out. Download the Game Time app. And remember, use the promo code GiantsChat. Support the show. Support the sponsor. Be a real one. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. All right. Do the Giants need to rip the Band-Aid off Daniel Jones? Yeah, it is time. Look, you've got a gash on your arm that needs stitches. You're leaking blood, and they've got a Band-Aid on it. It's getting infected, and it's honestly making the problem a little bit worse at this point. Like you and like me, we watched the Super Bowl this past Sunday. We watched the big game. And watching the Super Bowl, it reminded me that to win this league, you need a great quarterback. And I just don't believe that Daniel Jones is that guy. Has he been dealt an unfair hand? Sure. Agreed. Have the circumstances been there to where he could be great? No. But is Daniel Jones a Fetty guy? When you close your eyes and you envision the field that the New York Giants just won the Super Bowl, do you really see Daniel Jones having the confetti fall over his face? I do not. So I'll ask you this question. Is Daniel Jones better than Brock Purdy? The answer is no. Daniel Jones is not better than Brock Purdy. The 49ers, they had the best roster in the National Football League. They had the best left tackle. They had a top 2 tight end. They had the best running back. They had the best 1-2 punch at wide receiver. And they had some guy named Jawan Jennings on his way to winning an MVP in the Super Bowl. He had the best roster, had the second best coach. He had everything. And he still could not win the Super Bowl. What does that tell you? You need an elite signal caller. You need a great player in the modern day to win a Super Bowl that plays quarterback. The NFL is a quarterback league at this point. And I don't have an ounce of confidence in my body that even if the Giants had a good enough roster to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs, that they could beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And that's my goal, to win a Lombardi trophy. I don't want to win just one playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. I want to win the division. I want to win the divisional round. I want to win the NFC Championship. And I want to get to a Super Bowl. And I want to add number 5 to the case. Daniel Jones is not that guy. It's unfair. I know people are going to call me a hater. It is what it is. Great quarterbacks elevate everyone around them. They make players around them better. I haven't seen Daniel Jones do that. In fact, this year, in my opinion, on tape was one of his worst seasons of his career, and he arguably had the most talent around him at the talent positions. But I understand the offensive line was no good. Just want to get this out there. If you take nothing away from this video, just think about this. With Daniel Jones on the roster, waiting to restart the QB clock makes some sense because we know Daniel Jones is going to be here. He'll be cut after next year, and we'll have a $22 million dead cap hit. If you want to wait to start the QB clock so you can kind of take a rookie scale contract and that $22 million, that's fine. If so, just don't overpay the backup quarterback. Instead, use the $8 or $9 million to build around Daniel Jones and have Tommy DeVito be your backup quarterback. You don't need to spend major money on one because they probably won't be here in a year. Let's go through just quickly the top guys out there. Look, the top quarterback in free agency is going to be Kirk Cousins. The Giants are not interested in him. I'm sure they are interested in him. Kirk Cousins is not going to come play for the New York Giants. He also reportedly wants $100 million over 2 years, fully guaranteed. So you take Kirk Cousins out of the running. Ryan Tannehill does make some sense, and I think that could be a likely outcome for the Giants. Who is Ryan Tannehill? He's just an older Daniel Jones, though. He ain't moving the needle, but if you're looking for competition, sure, I would be a fan of this. Baker Mayfield, I think, could make some sense. The Giants had the opportunity last year to sign Baker Mayfield. Didn't happen. And I think Tampa's going to give him a good contract. I'm not so sure that he even enters free agency. If you're looking for a guy that can come in right now who's a little bit better than Daniel Jones maybe and win you some games, Gardner Minshew. But that's just a one-year stopgap. I'm just ready to get it over with and start with a fresh new quarterback. Also, I think Minshew's going to be out of the Giants' price point. Jacoby Brissett makes some sense for me if you're looking for that veteran quarterback. I actually think that he's an underrated player and has been throughout his career. I see this as a potential partnership, and I would be interested in signing him, and I don't think it would cost too much. I also would really like to sign Jameis Winston. I'm not saying Winston's great. I know he's kind of crazy and a little bit off the walls a little bit. There's one thing that guy is going to do, and that's sling the pill. At least we'd get 30 touchdowns. Just might also get 30 interceptions. I think Tyrod Taylor would be perfect as the backup quarterback. He knows the system. He's made some plays. He's won some games. Thing is, you benched him for Tommy DeVito. He does not want to be here anymore. Maybe he does. From what I have heard, he's looking to go play elsewhere. Marcus Mariota, another free agent quarterback. What's the point, right? What's the point? Why are we signing Marcus Mariota? Sam Darnold is a player that I actually am interested in signing. I think he will be cheap, and I would like to see Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones in practice and see who the better quarterback is. I think that one could make some sense. Drew Lock is another name that I think all Giants fans should get to know. We know what he is out of Missouri. He has spent all of his career at this point. Well, he was with the Denver Broncos, then the Seattle Seahawks, but another player that I think could be on the radar. Tyler Huntley is another quarterback I am interested in, going to be a free agent. But I think Huntley at this point has kind of written his name in ink as the backup quarterback for Lamar Jackson. If you're looking for a hero story, maybe Josh Dobbs is your cup of tea. Last year, threw for 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Maybe he can come in and compete with Daniel Jones. I don't know how much money you'd have to give him. Don't think it'd be too much. But those are the top free agent quarterbacks out there. Remember, Giants reportedly, according to ESPN and Jeremy Fowler, want to sign a veteran quarterback to compete with Daniel Jones. Those are the guys that I think would be at the top of that list. Make sure you are following me over on social media, at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, at @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram. The handle is same on both platforms. So give me a follow, and we'll see you tomorrow. Let's go Big Blue.